What you see in this image is, in the center of it is actually a galaxy there's a cluster of galaxies. And these are all the white galaxies in the foreground of this image. And they're actually quite distant as it is. I mean, they're the light has been traveling even from this cluster of galaxies for a few billion years already. So it's quite a distant cluster, all these whitish galaxies. It's also a very massive cluster. I mean, these galaxies combined make up thousands of times the mass of our Milky Way galaxy. So it's very massive. And because it's so massive, and it's in fact sitting in a what we call a dark matter halo that's even more massive than the light we can see. And all of this mass is actually bending the light from more distant galaxies behind it. So you can see surrounding this galaxy cluster, you can see all these colored arcs, these sort of reddish orange arcs that are actually more distant galaxies. And they're being lensed in the same way that any object would be lensed if you put a thick curved piece of glass in front of the image. It's basically the same principles. You see bending of light coming through this. It's not exactly identical as glass, but the bending aspect of it is fairly similar. So this cluster bends the light, and it also does a couple of other things. It magnifies the images, so the background galaxies appear larger, they appear stretched out. And it also causes them to be brighter. So the lensing basically focuses more light in our direction. So these distant galaxies that are normally very faint are actually brightened up by the lensing. So these cosmic lenses are fantastic tools, actually. They're natural telescopes, as we call them. It's basically like putting an extra lens in front of your telescope. And with that, you can then see these background galaxies magnified and brightened as this lens is placed in front of them. And so that enables us to study these much more distant galaxies to much more detail than we could before. Even with Hubble, we've done similar kind of studies with Hubble. You may recall some years back, we released some galaxy cluster lens images with Hubble. We called it the Hubble Frontier Fields. But to be honest, with Webb, the detail that we see in these images now is just beyond anything we've done before. Webb has a bigger mirror than Hubble, so it's got much more sharper images than Hubble, maybe a few times sharper. And so you can see much more images much more detail. When you zoom in on these images, you can just see with exquisite detail, you can see small clumps of star formation in these distant galaxies. And you can actually resolve them out into individual knots of star formation. And so this lets us really track with great detail the formation of stars and clusters in these early galaxies to much more detail than we ever could before.